I mean, I'm sorry you didn't get to do the other things on your list, but that's what this place is about. It's about coming down, you know, relaxing, enjoying the beach. We don't have TVs in the room.
Just what is it about Thailand that makes people want to live here, work here, retire here? Is it the hunger for adventure, the country's undeniable beauty, or the deep understanding that time waits for no man? For some, simply retiring here isn't enough. Some adventurous types come here seeking work, while others come here with that same sort of mindset that existed back in the gold rush days. They're looking for much more. While it's not that difficult for a foreigner to open up a business here in Thailand, as many have done it, the percentages, however, of those who have succeeded is a far different number. Recently, Tomo and I have had the opportunity to meet one of those people who has beat the odds. Dan Collins seems to have been born with hospitality in his blood. He has a way of making people feel comfortable and relaxed, and has literally rubbed shoulders with kings and queens. His management style is about the most gentle you may ever come across. And he and his partner Nina, well, their success speaks for itself. I know that many of you who watch our channel are thinking or even planning about moving to Thailand for retirement. Well, after watching today's video, you might just get inspired to dream a whole lot bigger than that. Dan, I gotta give it to you. Not many people can call a 9-kilometer beach their office.
Yeah, it's tough, but somebody's got to do it, I guess, and I'm happy to be that somebody.
Amen. Welcome, guys. Today we're talking to Dan, and we're gonna hear all about his story. Let's go. So how large is the staff?
Well, at the moment we've got 8 staff. And if we were at full capacity, we'd really only be at about 9 or 10.
Well, let me first, Dan, say thank you for agreeing to do this and for inviting us onto Margarita Beach.
No problem. It's good to have you here. Good to see you again.
Our third stay. On that note, why don't you tell us a bit about Margarita Beach and how it came to be?
Okay, well, I guess to start, Nina and I were living in Bangkok.
Nina is your partner?
Yeah. COVID hit. Nothing was happening. Nina had some land that we had acquired with some friends of ours about 20 minutes south of here, and we decided to come down and build a house. And we rented for a year here in Khanom. And we used to come into this place, it was called Khanom at the time, for lunch. And in September 2021, the owners, the current owner, or the former owners, said they were closing and moving back to France. And we thought it was a real shame if it just all closed up. So we took it over. It was closed when we took it over. We built the bar, we changed the name, and we opened in February 2022. So just a little over a year and a half ago. And we've got 8 shacks here, beach shacks. They're all bamboo structures with thatched roofs. They have a mixture of bamboo floors and concrete floors. They're all air conditioned. And we have one family shack that has 3 double beds, sleeps 6. The other 7 all have a double bed, and if people come with kids, we can put a mattress on the floor. We've got the restaurant, the bar, the gardens, and of course the beach.
It is all in one. I mean, when we came here, I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, we had intended to do like 5 other things. And like 10 minutes after we landed here, we quickly surmised, yeah, none of that's gonna happen. and I think we did maybe one. Tomo is sitting behind the camera, you guys. We did maybe 1 thing off our list, and everything else we threw out the window and said, nope, we're just going to chill right here.
Well, and that's great. I mean, it's good to hear. I mean, I'm sorry you didn't get to do the other things on your list, but that's what this place is about. It's about coming down, you know, relaxing, enjoying the beach. We don't have TVs in the room, for example, and I think in the year and a half we've been open, on one rainy day, we had a guest saying it might be nice if you had TVs, but other than that, nobody wants it, because when you get here, it's all about the beach and the atmosphere, and that's why guests come.
Until you just mentioned it, I hadn't even had the thought.
Yeah. And that's why we fell in love with the place. We used to come here because the beach, as you know, is a 9-kilometer beautiful beach. You feel like you've got it to yourself all the time, but this was one of the places that still has the trees and the shade and just a nice feel to it. And that's why we fell in love with it, and why when the previous owners wanted to, you know, or needed to close and move back to France, we thought it would be such a shame if it just, you know, closed up and that was it. So sort of felt an obligation. So
as to running a nuts and bolts of business of this type, what kind of experience did you bring? Was this completely new for you? Or?
Well, no, it wasn't. I've actually spent my whole life in this industry, but it started, and this is the kind of ironical thing that makes me smile, is I got into this business because as a kid we used to go to Spain, and in the summer holidays I used to work in a beach bar, or help set up a beach bar every day and put the sun loungers out and turn the coffee machine on and do a few things. And I always thought,
Cabana boy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always thought this would be just a dream to own a place like that, or be able to do that for the rest of my life. And but of course my parents thought I should get an education, and so I got an education, but decided to go into the hotel business. And I was fortunate enough to get on a 5-year management training program in London with the Savoy Group of Hotels, which was an intensive course that you started out going to the meat markets and the fruit and veg markets. You worked in kitchens, you worked in bars, restaurants, sales and marketing, accounts, obviously front office, banqueting, and then I then worked after that also for a year in London at a place called Spencer House, which is the ancestral home of the Spencer family, although they haven't lived there for years and years and years. And it was mainly high-end events, special events. And then I had the opportunity to come to Asia with a company called Aman Resorts as a general manager of a property in Malaysia at the time, and have been here ever since, always involved in hotels or hospitality, restaurants, bars, some resort real estate, and in the last 20 years mainly on the development side of having mainly resort hotel properties designed and built, or on the acquisition side of that, and that's what I was doing until COVID hit.
But that being said, was it always part of your master plan to sort of land in Thailand, to take that experience to here, or how did that decision to bring you here come to be?
It wasn't a master plan. It was I guess it was a series of fortunate. I was living originally in Malaysia, and I was traveling around Asia, and I came to Thailand quite often for work. And then I moved to Bali, and I was living in Bali. And at the time I had set up a small resort there where we sold the individual pool villas to individual owners.
Working for someone, or this?
No,
this
was my own development. Yeah.
Wow.
And
at what age?
That would have been in my late 30s, I guess.
Wow. Great.
And then through that, I had the opportunity. Some of the people who helped us sell the villas in Bali, who were a company based in Hong Kong, they had some developments in Phuket, and so I went over to Phuket to help them with those projects. Ended up with some friends buying a piece of land north of Phuket, which we were in the process of doing the planning to develop it, and then the global financial crisis hit, and then the area was rezoned, or there was a moratorium on any projects for 5 years. This was back in 2009,
This
10.
is Lehman crisis?
Yeah, 2008, 2009.
Yep.
So we ended up selling that land. We had a local developer who had the land next door. They were happy to wait out the moratorium, and so we sold that. But by then I was coming to Thailand a lot for work. And then in 2011, I got asked to help act as a consultant for a public listed company here in Thailand that has hotels and restaurants, who was setting up a new division, and they asked me to help them find properties, and then ultimately I became in charge of the development of properties in Thailand and Asia for them. And so then sold up in Bali and ended up working in, excuse the blender, Summer's having a frozen margarita.
We're still running a business here.
Summer's having a frozen margarita. But so yeah, I ended up for 10 years in Bangkok, and I had known Nina from before, but then when I moved to Bangkok, and then we became much more serious as a couple, and we lived in Bangkok until COVID.
Wow. Oh,
see?
My goodness.
Tuna skewer.
I get it, I get it.
These are our coconut prawns and lab mutad. These are a little bit spicy, but
I'm down with
very,
that.
very popular in Thailand.
As those pork?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We may have had that once before.
And then the coconut prawns have like a wasabi mayo with them.
Nice.
And the tuna kebab has mango salsa and basil rice.
Nice.
And yeah, it's sort of...
Here comes something special. We had to let Tomo, who's behind the camera today, have a little break.
Have a reward.
Have a little reward, some refreshment.
Yeah.
This is a treat for us. We don't usually get margaritas.
Not at this time of the day. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Not at this time of the day. Hand me mine if you would.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Kampai.
Cheers. Kampai.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. No problem. Should do it more often.
That could be habit forming. I don't know about that. I want to jump back just for one sec. The Savoy group, how did you get introduced into that program? How large is that program? Say a little bit more just about that.
Yeah, it was again sort of fortunate. A friend of mine that I was at a boarding school with in England, I met his older brother who was on the program, and he said to me, I had been planning to finish my A-levels, apply to universities to go and study hotel management, and I got introduced to it through a friend's brother who was on the program, and I thought, actually, that's great. I'd much rather, if I can, work my way. And part of the course was you also did some professional qualifications, some on a day release, and then a 9-month study as part of that program. And they only took 12 people a year, so they started one person a month.
Wow.
And you followed, the guy or girl before you through the program, doing some interesting things. I mean, also, I enjoyed working. I worked for a while in the press office, where you met some incredible people at the time, which would have been about 1988, I guess. We had Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and Liza Minnelli staying at the hotel while they're performing at the Albert Hall, and an incredible experience. I mean, those hotels and my experience at Aman Resorts and Spencer House were all really, a lot of it was royal hospitality, a lot of it was very high end. I loved it, and it gave me a foundation in this industry that I'll never forget, but it wasn't really me. I mean, I'm not really a suit and tie guy. I'm more of a Jimmy Buffett tribute shirt kind of guy. Yeah, God rest him.
God rest his soul. We lost him
Yeah,
last month.
yeah. Yeah.
So I can only imagine that because there were only 12 other individuals at a time, that cohort that you went through, that must have been a tight, you still keep in touch with those guys?
I do. I still keep in touch with some of them. In fact, a couple of them, one of them, Dean, he's the CEO or MD of Swire Hotels in Hong Kong. Another good friend, Alex, actually, when we were trainees, they set up a exchange program with the Akura Group in Japan. And Alex was the first trainee to go to the Akura Hotel in Tokyo.
Oh.
And back in Japan now, he was with Four Seasons Hotels for a long time, married to a Japanese girl with 3 daughters, I believe now, and
Nice choice.
yeah, yeah, and is back in Japan now. So their careers have also been amazing, but I think sometimes they're a little bit envious of, you know, the beach life, you know.
Do you ever
So
Skype with
different-
them and they say,
so,
where the hell are you?
What are you doing?
Jesus,
yeah,
Dan.
Yeah.
Do you have to wear that shirt every time we Skype?
Yeah, do some work. Yeah, have a shave and do some work. Yeah, no, but yeah. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I do genuinely. I got into this business because it is a business where you're doing different things. Here, even in this small environment, I love talking to the gardener about the plants he's planting, you know, talking to the ladies in the kitchen here about the Thai food, meeting the customers obviously and getting their stories. But it's kind of come full circle that I'm not in Spain, but I'm at a beach bar and I still sometimes help set the sun lounges up if you know, they're short-handed. But yeah, so enjoying it.
What you guys have put together in regards to a staff, because we've been on the island now of Samui for a year, and I cannot, in all honesty, say that I have seen in my limited time here a better group of individuals on staff running a show.
They're all really local, or from Nakhon Si Thammarat. Also for them, it's a nice place to work and it's a good atmosphere, and they enjoy it.
When I arrived yesterday, you were not here yet. Boone saw me, and Kun Boone comes right over and he starts grabbing my luggage. I'm like, I'm good, Boone, I'm good. He's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Grabs my luggage, the dogs know him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. It's like a family. It is like a family business, and
assumedly, not every day in business for yourself or with the partner is going to be easy. So what challenges have you faced along the way that you might share, or cautionary tales you'd have for folks who might be thinking of following in these footsteps?
You know, the biggest surprise we had, the biggest was when, given that we took this over at the end of 2021 and COVID was still a thing, and for example in Samui, everything had been closed for, you know, 2 years basically, and all the restaurants that, when we took this over, we thought it would be really easy to hire staff, and it wasn't.
Why was that, you think?
Just, I think a lot of the people who had been working in places like Samui weren't from Samui, and they had then gone back to their hometowns or whatever, and had then been there for 18 months, and
maybe found new gigs there, or just weren't ready to.
Yeah, just weren't ready to come back, and so that was tough. And I mean, and there are, you know, rules and regulations for setting up businesses or operating businesses or getting a visa. There is a system, and if you follow that system, you can, you know, you can set up and operate. I mean, there was a company that existed here,
of course,
and we did our sort of due diligence, and then we took over the company that was operating, and Nina, well, between Nina and her sister, they own the vast majority of the business. I have a small shareholding in it, but could never be the majority shareholder. She's the authorized director.
She's your boss.
Yeah, yeah. I say this to people all
Welcome to the club. The wife is the boss, the wife is the boss, the wife is the boss.
Yeah, well, and I say this to people all the time. People say to me, oh, are you the owner? I say, no, she is. I just live with her. and that's, I mean, but that's the truth. I mean, And
Well, you couldn't have found a better partner.
yeah, no, we're very happy. And
Briefly tell us about the seasons. Now that you've been open now over a year, 2 years?
yeah, a year and a half, yeah.
What are high and low seasons like here in Khanom, Thailand?
Well, we follow really Samui. So in terms of weather-wise, November is historically the wettest month. November, December, January are when you get rougher seas and more rain, but it's warm rain, as we say, liquid sunshine. And then in terms of business, December, because of Christmas, European holidays, that's a busy time, and then it builds up through January, February, March, and then April is busiest because of the Thai Songkran holidays and the Thai New Year. And generally there's quite a few public holidays in those periods. And then it drops off a bit in May, June. And then July, August, we get the Europeans coming back again. And then it drops down again September, October, November.
Are you finding even more word is getting out there via your advertising? Because you guys do a great job advertising on Facebook.
And I mean, I guess through Google we get, reviews and people. We have a lot of people who have found word of mouth is a big thing. We've had a lot of people. In fact, credit to you guys, we had a lovely Australian couple who came and stayed because they had seen your first Khanom video, and they said they were up in near Hua Hin, and they were thinking of coming down to Samui, and then they said, oh, but what about Ed and Tomo, that place, where was that place? And so they turned up here and ended up staying for, I think, 4 nights.
So, okay, this is our third stay here. If we can break the chains and get the heck off the property before we leave, where else would you tell us to go have dinner? Or because we've gone nowhere, Dan. And I feel like I should feel bad about that. I don't, but where else should we go?
Actually, there isn't anywhere. No.
All right,
sorry.
That's the end of the video. Come to Khanom and stay at Dan's. See you next week.
No. I mean, there's some great places. I mean, mostly along the beach. If you start at the north end of the beach, there's Bottega Gira, who's half Italian, half Thai, was working in Samui for a while and has got a great Italian restaurant, incredible pasta, and they only open on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but you've got to make a booking, and really good. Also, she makes her own gelato, she makes her own tiramisus, all the classics. Fantastic. Towards Donsat called Seaview Bar, and little reggae style bar on the beach. Really nice beach, and again, fantastic, honest Thai food and great reggae music. In town is the Dusty Gecko.
We've driven by that.
Okay, well,
What's that about?
Well, Mikko, he's been open 10, 12 years. He's from Finland. He was chef in high-end hotels and things, and he makes his own rye breads and his own breads. Jira also makes his own breads, but Mikko in Dusty Gecko, he also smokes and smokes his own fish, cures meats, smokes cheeses.
Wow.
And it's kind of an institution here in Khanom. Going further south from us, you've been to Love at First Bite.
Yes, excellent food.
Excellent cafe. You've then got Le Petit Saint-Tropez, which is right on the beach again. Small resort, well, I say small, they're twice as big as us. But really nice restaurant on the beach, and again, they do a mixture of Mediterranean style food and some Thai food. Also do a lot of specials, great place they've just built a new bar, which is great. It's right on the beach again, great place to sit and look out at the ocean. A little bit further from that is one of our favorites, which is SP Restaurant, or Sopa's. Everybody in Khanom knows Sopa. If you say to people, Kun Sopa. And it's a small restaurant on the beach attached to a resort called Phupat Resort. And she does just really wonderful home-style Thai food, very affordable. And her sister and daughter run it and make everybody feel like family. And again, a great place. Almost next door to them is CC Bar and Resort. And Charlie, CC's I think was really the first bar on the beach. And they've got a menu of everything. Thai, Indian, Italian, all kinds. And again, a sort of institution on the beach. And the other one I've got to mention is Frankie's.
Mm.
Frankie's Cafe is a go-to place. They're only open until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but 8 o'clock in the morning they open. Fantastic. Tara bakes her own bread as well, croissants, baguettes. We buy our baguettes here from Frankie's. Great coffee, great sandwiches, salads, juices, and so there's plenty. Yeah, there's.
Well, in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Thanks to our friend Dan for taking us here.
Good morning. See if we can pick it up with one hand.
Wow.
Huge.
Getting in your weight training for the day.
Good.
Dan, what'd you get? A little traditional
Yeah, ham and cheese croissant.
ham and cheese croissant with
Yeah,
a daiquiri?
pineapple shake.
Yeah.
No alcohol this morning.
Yeah. You make the call on that, ladies and gentlemen. Is he telling the truth? Yeah, I think he is. And Miss Tomo.
And then got sandwich, homemade
Mm.
homemade sausage sandwich.
With fresh baguette baked right here on site in the hash browns that I will be stealing. And then I got a little sausage of my own here. Egg, bacon, sausage, again fresh baguette, and a side tomato. All right, we have waited long enough. We are eating. Long story short, they have both a 200-hour certification and then there's a 300-hour for people who are already certified who just want to dig deeper after they go off.